Subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon and enjoy the video. It was a quiet morning in Willowbrook, a village so small it rarely appeared on any map. The air smelled of fresh bread from the baker's shop, and the cobblestone streets echoed with the soft chatter of neighbors greeting each other. In the heart of the village stood a massive old oak tree, its branches sprawling like the arms of a guardian. No one knew exactly how old it was, but the elders swore it had been standing for over 3 centuries. Beneath its shade, generations had played, prayed, laughed, and mourned. To the villagers, the old oak was not just a tree, it was the soul of Willowbrook. Eleanor Carter, a widowed schoolteacher in her 50s, walked past the old oak every morning on her way to school. She always paused, placed her hand on the rough bark, and whispered a silent prayer. Today, however, something felt different. The sunlight fell strangely through the branches, casting shadows in odd shapes on the ground. She noticed faint carvings in the bark she had never seen before, intricate patterns that seemed too deliberate to be nature's doing. At the same time, a newcomer named Samir was sitting on a bench nearby, sketching the old oak. Samir was a young man in his 20s who had arrived in Willowbrook just 2 months earlier. He made a living carving wooden figurines and selling them at the weekly market. Most villagers liked him, though a few distrusted outsiders. Eleanor approached him, curious about his drawing. "You see those lines?" she asked, pointing at the carvings. "Yes," he replied, "I noticed them yesterday. They look like some sort of code or a message." That afternoon, the calm of the village was disrupted by an announcement from Mayor Caldwell. Standing on a small platform in the square, the mayor declared, "Friends of Willowbrook, progress is coming. We've secured a deal to build a luxury resort right here in our village. Jobs, prosperity, and growth will be ours. The first step is to clear the old oak." The crowd gasped. Some cheered at the idea of progress, but others whispered in fear. Cutting down the old oak was unthinkable to many. Eleanor's heart sank. She knew the mayor was ambitious, but she also knew he was greedy. Rumors had long suggested that he had been selling pieces of village land to wealthy outsiders in exchange for personal favors. But to destroy the old oak, that was beyond imagination. Later that evening, Eleanor visited Samir at his small workshop. "I think those carvings on the oak mean something," she said urgently. "And if they do, they might be the key to saving it." Together, they returned to the tree under the cover of night, armed with lanterns and a notebook. Samir carefully traced the carvings while Eleanor studied them. The markings formed words not in plain English, but in an old code used centuries ago. It was Samir's skill with patterns and shapes that finally cracked the code. The message read, "For those who guard the heart, the land shall be theirs." "What does it mean?" Samir asked. Eleanor's eyes widened. "The heart, it must mean the oak. The founder of Willowbrook was known for hiding his wealth and writing his will in riddles. If this is his message, then maybe the land belongs to whoever protects this tree." Determined to learn more, Eleanor dug into the village archives the next day. In dusty boxes, she found old letters from the founder, Thomas Whitmore. One letter mentioned a great chest beneath the guardian of the people that contained his final will. The words matched the carving's meaning. If they could find this chest, they could prove the land and the oak belonged to the people, not to Mayor Caldwell. But word of Eleanor's research somehow reached the mayor. That night, she found her school door vandalized, and Samir's workshop ransacked. The message was clear: stop digging, or face consequences. Instead of frightening them, this only made Eleanor and Samir more determined. They decided to search the oak itself. Under the bright moonlight, they examined every crevice of the tree until Samir's hand slipped into a hollow. Inside was a small wooden box containing a metal key and another riddle: where water once kissed the roots, the truth awaits. Eleanor realized it referred to the old well near the oak, long dried up and covered with stones. The next day, they pretended to take a morning walk and stopped near the well. Moving the stones quietly, they found a trapdoor at the bottom. Inside lay a large, iron-bound chest. Hearts pounding, they dragged it out and used the key to open it. Inside were documents, land deeds, maps, and the founder's will, stating in unmistakable terms that the village land belonged collectively to its residents. Any sale or destruction of its landmarks, including the old oak, was forbidden. Just as they held the papers in triumph, Mayor Caldwell appeared with two of his men. "Hand that over," he ordered. But before he could act, the villagers, alerted by the commotion, gathered around. Eleanor held up the will and read it aloud for all to hear. Gasps and cheers erupted. The mayor's face turned pale as people began shouting for his resignation. The following week, the mayor was removed from office, and a council of villagers was formed to govern Willowbrook. The old oak was declared a protected heritage site, and Samir was asked to create a carved plaque telling the story of its salvation. Months later, Eleanor and Samir stood beneath the oak, watching children play in its shade. "It's strange," Samir said, "how something so old could still protect us today." Eleanor smiled. "Some guardians never rest." And so, Willowbrook thrived not because of money or modern buildings, but because its people had remembered the value of unity, courage, and heritage. The old oak stood tall, whispering its ancient secret to the wind, that those who guard the heart will always be protected. Moral of the story: true wealth lies not in riches or progress at the cost of heritage, but in unity, courage, and the preservation of what truly matters. Thanks for watching the video and enjoy mode in the video.